Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The four sons of Brahma, the Kumaras, declined to become family men even on the request of their great father Brahma. Those who are serious about gaining release from material bondage should not be entangled in the false relationship of family bondage. People may ask how the Kumaras could refuse the orders of Brahma, who was their father, and above all, the creator of the universe. The reply is that one who is Vasudeva Parayana, or seriously engaged in the devotional service of the personality of Godhead Vasudeva, need not care for any other obligation. It is enjoined in the Bhagavatam 11.5.41, Devarshi bhutaptan nrinam pitrinam na kinkaro nayam runi charajan sarvatmanaya sharanam sharanyam gato mukundam parihritya kartam. Anyone who has completely given up all worldly relationships and has taken absolute shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, who gives us salvation and who alone is fit to be taken shelter of, is no longer a debtor or servant of anyone, including the demigods, forefathers, sages, other living entities, relatives, and members of human society. Thus, there was nothing wrong in the acts of the Kumaras when they refused their great father's request that they become family men. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Tan babhashe. Swabhu. Swabhu means Brahma. Brahma spoke to them. Who are them? The Kumaras. They are being mentioned in the previous verse. Sanakam cha sanandanam cha sanatanam atha atma bhuhu sanat kumaram cha. Brahma created four great sages. By birth they are great sages. Sanaka, Sananda, Sanatana and Sanat Kumara. Because Nishkriyan, they were completely free from all fruitive activities. They were unwilling to adopt materialistic activities. Why? Because they were highly elevated due to their semen flowing upwards. Urdhvaretasaha. This is the training that is generally given in the Vedic culture to brahmacharis. How to become disinterested in fruitive activities, materialistic activities, and conserve the vital energy in the body for spiritual purpose. This is a whole program for those seriously interested in moksha dharma. Moksha dharma means those who are interested in the principles of liberation. The whole human form of life is simply meant for liberation from material bondage. But those who are misled by the material allurements, they have a program for making an elaborate civilization arrangement for material enjoyment itself. Actually, there is no need of making any arrangement for material enjoyment. It is there along with the body. How is that? As soon as we get a body, we have got suitable senses for enjoying materially. Shariram yadavapnoti yachapyut kramati ishvaraha grihitvaitani samyati vayur gandha nivashayat. When we quit one body, then we transmigrate to another body. We enter another body. Transmigrate because, why is called transmigrate? Why not simply say migrate? Because there is a link between the previous body and the next body. What is that link? Whatever activities I have done in the previous body, that becomes the basis for my getting the next body. Just like if somebody is working in some, let us say, one bank, we say he's transferred to another branch. We don't say he has quit this branch and freshly he has joined another branch. No, we say he's transferred. In the same spirit, you understand, transmigrate. The soul transmigrates because there's a link, there's a connection. So the Bhagavad Gita 15th chapter explains, Shrotram Chakshusparshanam cha Rasanam Granameva cha. All the five senses. The sense of hearing, the sense of seeing, Shrotram Chakshusparshanam, the sense of touch, Rasanam, the sense of taste, Granam, the sense of smell. Adhisthaya Manaschayam, all of them are given, centered around the mind. Adhisthaya Manaha. Vishayanupasevate. Why are they given in a particular way? A particular type of sense is given to enjoy a particular type of sense object. Just like as human beings, we have got a certain range of eatables which we can taste. But that's not the same taste that is there for the other creatures. The camel, it enjoys eating thorns. Actually, it is not the thorn taste that the camel is enjoying. It is enjoying the thorns cutting the tongue and blood coming out. And that blood mixed with the thorns, the camel is thinking is very tasty. Or a hog, it is eating rubbish, stool, and it is thinking very tasty. So different kinds of senses are awarded according to the desire to enjoy. It's already there. There is no need of making any elaborate arrangement. So Prahlad Maharaj says in the Bhagavatam, in the 7th canto, when Narasimhadev asks, do you want liberation? He says, no. Why you don't want liberation? Because I am happy being situated in Krishna consciousness, in glorification of the Supreme Lord. Tvad-virya gayana mahamrita magna chittaha. My mind is completely absorbed in Krishna katha or glorification of Krishna. The glories of the Supreme Lord. So completely absorbed in that, but still Prahlad Maharaj says, Shochetato vimukha-chetasaha. But I am unhappy, I am sad about some people who are vimukha-chetasaha, who are turned away from the Supreme Lord. Who are turned away from the Supreme Lord. Indriyartha sukham bharam udvahato vimudhan. Foolishly, they have created one big civilization. Prabhupada translate that as humbug civilization. Humbug. It is meaningless civilization that is so busy with sense gratification, and for such sense gratification which is available even for the most primitive creatures, available even in hellish conditions, available for all living beings in this material world. For such sense gratification, the intelligent human beings have made elaborate arrangements. So the Bhagavatam explains, human life is not meant for sense enjoyment. Human life is not meant for sense enjoyment. And if somebody tries to squeeze out happiness from sense enjoyment, because there is no real happiness, but somebody thinks, let me try, use my intelligence, somehow squeeze out some pleasure out of it, then they'll be frustrated. They'll be disappointed. They will be unable to actually get real happiness out of sense enjoyment. So, the Bhagavatam directs that real happiness is in self-realization. Real purpose of human life is self-realization. And for this purpose, the training is given to become nishkriyan, to become disinterested in materialistic way of life, to become disinterested in sense gratification. This training is given. The Kumaras, by birth they were great sages, so therefore they were disinterested right from the beginning of their life, of their beginning of their birth itself, they were disinterested. So when their father requested them, now generate progeny, because Brahma has got the responsibility of creating. Creating means generating progeny. So how does Brahma create? First of all, he generates the Prajapatis. The Prajapatis further create the different varieties of species of life. But the Kumaras, they refused Brahma. Why? Due to their being attached to Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vasudeva Parayana. So what is the result of being Vasudeva Parayana? They are disinterested in anything which entangles one in this material world. So they declined. They expressed their unwillingness. Tannaichan, they said, no, we're not going to get married. We're not going to generate progeny. So in the purport, Prabhupada says, how could the Kumaras refuse their father? Father is the first guru, according to scriptures. Father is the first guru, the father who gives birth. So how could the Kumaras refuse their father? So the Bhagavatam explains that one who is Vasudeva Parayana, or one who has taken complete shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, has no obligation to anyone. Has no obligation even to the 6 different kinds of personalities who are responsible for our maintenance in this material world. Deva, Rishi, Bhuta, Apta, Nrinam, Pitrinam. 6 different kinds of personalities. Devatas. We are dependent on the Devatas for our existence in this material world. The Devatas are supplying all various kinds of necessities. The air, the water, and the food, the sunshine, moonshine. We are dependent on all these. And the Devatas are making arrangement for suitable supply. It is not that we require water, so there will be so much rain that we will be harassed by floods. No. Controlled rainfall. If there is proper practice of dharma, then the scriptures say, Yajnat bhavati parjanyo. If people perform yajna properly, there will be proper rainfall. And such proper rainfall is described as just enough for sustaining our life. But one who is dedicated for devotional service to Vasudeva, such a devotee has no obligation to any devata. Deva, Rishi. All knowledge we get from the Rishis. Whatever knowledge, we are obliged, we are obligated, indebted to the Rishis. Deva, Rishi, Bhuta, the general living entities. So many living entities, we are dependent, especially the human society. Just like the bees supply honey, the cow supplies milk. So many other living entities we are dependent on. Then Bhuta, Apta, our family members, relatives, to begin with our parents. We are indebted to our parents. So, that obligation is for those who are non-devotees. These obligations for demigods, forefathers, sages, other living entities, members of human society. Just like everyone doesn't grow their own food, somebody is growing. Somebody is weaving a cloth you are wearing. Somebody is stitching the cloth you are wearing. Correct? So, we are, in that sense, we are indebted to so many other human beings in the society. Nrinam. But one who is a devotee of Krishna is freed from all such obligations because a devotee is engaged exclusively in devotional service. Being engaged in devotional service, one is freed from such obligations. So, therefore, there was nothing wrong in the act of the Kumaras when they refused their great father's request that they become family men. Now, somebody may think that Bhagavatam is encouraging everyone to become Krishna conscious, so nobody should get married. Then how will there be progeny? Even good progeny, how will it be there? So that is not the understanding. The Bhagavatam also describes, for example, Kardama Muni. Kardama Muni was a Prajapati. So when Swayambhuva Manu approached Kardama Muni to marry his daughter, Kardama Muni accepted, even though he was very serious about Krishna consciousness. So how is it possible? It says here that one who is serious about gaining release from material bondage should not be entangled in the false relationship of family bondage. This false relationship of family bondage applies to those who consider family life as meant for sense enjoyment. That is the falsity of family life. Whereas there is another kind of family life. So in the scriptures, this distinction is made. The false family relationship is called Grihamedhi. One who enters family life for sense enjoyment. That's called Grihamedhi. And there is Grihastha. Grihastha means one who enters family life for advancing in Krishna consciousness. Now this is unknown to modern civilization. That one can make advancement even while living with wife, children, other family members. It is possible. And that's what is being taught in the Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam has many examples. Parikshit Maharaj, Yudhishthira Maharaj, Prithu Maharaj. And there is one very interesting incident. There was one brahmachari who was nicely trained up in brahmacharya principles, Priyavrata, the son of Swayambhuva Manu. And when he came of marriageable age, then when he was asked to marry, he said, I won't marry. Like the Kumaras. Kumaras not even after they grew up, before itself, they were decided we're not going to get married. Priyavrata, when he grew up, then he refused to get married. And then Priyavrata actually was advised to get married in order to take charge of ruling the world. To take charge of ruling the world. And he was given assurance that if he executes his duties as a family man, in the spirit of being a grihastha, not as a grihamedhi, then he can continue to make advancement in spiritual path or spiritual progress without any hindrance. And in that way, he will be able to discharge his responsibility as the emperor of the world. At the same time, not be hampered in his spiritual progress. So this is also taught. Prahlad Maharaj, he was a grihastha. Because again, he had to rule the world. So he was a grihastha. Bali Maharaj was a grihastha. Great devotees, great emperors who are devoted for spiritual culture, for spiritual advancement. They were devotees, they were grihasthas. So, the important point is not whether somebody is a grihastha or a brahmachari or a vanaprastha or a sannyasi. No, that is not important. What is important is whether they are actually serious about spiritual advancement. In any position, one can actually execute Krishna consciousness. This is the teaching of the Bhagavatam. Dharma swanushtita pumsam vishwaksena kathasuyaha nauppadayet yadiratim shramayevahi kevalam. One can perform one's prescribed duties. One should perform one's prescribed duties according to Varna and Ashrama. But as long as the duties are performed in the spirit of pleasing Vasudeva, Ata pumbir dvija shrestha varnashrama vibhagashaha swanushthitasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. Bhagavatam declares, swanushthitasya dharmasya, according to division of varnashrama, if somebody is carrying out their duties, pleasing Vasudeva, haritoshanam, pleasing the Supreme Lord Hari, then that is samsiddhi, highest perfection can be achieved. Highest perfection. So carry out the duties in Krishna consciousness. Carry out the duties in Krishna consciousness. This is the teaching of the Bhagavata. Samsiddhir haritosha. So it doesn't matter whether somebody is a brahmachari or a grihastha or a vanaprastha or a sannyasi. It doesn't matter which ashrama one belongs to, or even varna also. Brahmana, Vaishya, Kshatriya, Shudra, doesn't matter. All of them can actually achieve the highest perfection simply by doing their duties in the spirit of pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this is taught by the great acharyas, by the great teachers, by the great rishis, sages. They are instructing and teaching this, how to execute one's duties in the spirit of pleasing the Supreme Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna describes that all living creatures are under the influence of the three modes. Krishna describes Brahmanas, they are under the influence of predominantly the Sattva Guna. Kshatriyas, Rajoguna. Vaishyas, mixed Rajoguna and Tamoguna. Shudras under Tamoguna. But he says that even though everyone is under the influence of the Gunas, by doing their duties in a particular way, they can achieve perfection of liberation from material bondage. 18th chapter describes this. Swakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manavaha. See that verse? 18th chapter. Swakarmana, by following the prescribed duties, carrying out the prescribed duties. Tamabhyarcha, one should worship the Supreme Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all pervading. Read the verse. Verse number 40, 46. Yata pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvam idam tatam swakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manava. Read the translation. Worship of the Lord is the source of all beings and who is all pervading. By performing his own duties, a man can achieve perfection. So, the same thing is told in the Bhagavatam. Swanushthitasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. By pleasing the Supreme Lord, in performing one's duties, one can achieve highest perfection. So, the important point is Krishna consciousness. It doesn't matter what the duties are. It doesn't matter which position one is situated in. Even Brahma, in the Bhagavatam, while he offers prayers to Krishna after the Brahma Vimohana Leela, he says, you may be situated in your own position without changing your position. You simply have to engage in hearing the glories of the Supreme Lord from the lips of pure devotees. What is that verse? Sthane sthita shrutigatam tanuvan manobhi. You remain in your position, whatever your position is, according to varnashram or according to your situation. You have been placed in a particular situation. But you engage in hearing the glories of the Supreme Lord. Engage in hearing Krishna Katha from the lips of pure devotees. Then you can achieve all perfection without changing your position. It's particularly applicable for the modern society because people sometimes think that spiritual life means we have to leave the family and go away to some forest or some holy place. All very, very impractical. Now the holy places are becoming crowded with all kinds of pseudo spiritualists who actually have not purified their heart, but they are coming with some desire for spiritual life, but they are unable to maintain the standard of living in the holy place. So they are actually polluting the atmosphere. They are polluting the atmosphere of the holy place. Holy place is holy because one can go to such a holy place and get the association of pure devotees. That's what makes the holy place a holy place. But if it is crowded with people who are not pure in the heart, who still have materialistic temperament, then the holy place is not worth its name. Prabhupada says in one purport, now Vrindavan has become filled with Mayavadis. So many Mayavadis are there. So one cannot get association of pure devotees, then one should not go to such a place. Narottam Das Thakur says that better to remain wherever you are and honestly engage in Krishna consciousness, even at your home, rather than go to a so-called holy place where there is no association of pure devotees. If there is no association of pure devotees, there is no use in going to a holy place. So, the Bhagavatam recommends that you remain in your position. It doesn't matter what your position is, but you engage in devotional service according to the direction of the acharyas, of the Bhagavatam itself. Simply by chanting and hearing the glories of the Supreme Lord. Even chanting and hearing the holy name is enough. One can actually become serious about ultimate liberation from material bondage. Any questions? ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।